Hi there guys, how are you doing today? My name is ShinMasaki. Today we are going to be doing the My Summer Car Inspection Speedrun. For this run, the timer starts when we gain control of our character, and the timer will end when we review the paperwork saying that we have passed the inspection. We are playing in the stable release version as of May 29th, 2020, and today's date is December 2nd, 2020. I'll be doing live commentary as we're playing through, just in case anyone happens to be interested in trying this run out as well. The run is mostly straightforward. There's not too much RNG involved. There is just one little bit of RNG that is a run breaker. Thankfully we go and hit that about 3 minutes into the run, so it's pretty early. Alright, so let's start. Right here, gain control of our character. We're going to start out by unplugging the phone. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of rain today. Garage is open to full, and we're going to go and pop open our toolbox here really quickly. Flip over your engine. We got some things to install real quick. Crankshaft in, camshaft in. Up top up here, we got these bearings we need to get. Bearings 1, 2, and 3. Bearing 3 will be on this gear side, 1 is on the flat end side, and 2 right in the middle. This is your 9mm spanner. 2 bolts on each of them. Every bolt requires 8 clicks in order to go and have it bolted in fully. You cannot go and over tighten, but you can have things be too loose. Any bolts that are close to one another, I'll be going back and forth like this to go and bolt things in faster. After our 9s, then we get our 5mm. Our camshaft down over here has 2 bolts on it, and I'll be going like mousing back and forth over things rapidly like that for a singular bolt. 10mm spanner next for our camshaft gear. Connect that, and then we need to flip this thing up. Need to align this thing with the crankshaft and the engine block. There's a little notch on the camshaft gear that after you go and tighten it, you keep on wheeling it until it goes and aligns itself in. So right there looks good. Following that, 7mm. We need our engine plate. Let's go and just attach that right here. Then our flywheel. 6 bolts here for the flywheel. After we bolt in 4, the engine will dip into the ground slightly. Once we're done with that, 6mm. Let's go and assemble our clutch. 6 bolts for this one, and again after we do 4, then the engine will dip into the ground again. Once we're done with that, grab your gasoline and your jerry can, and we're heading out. That's it for the engine primer. Up on your bike, kickstand, fuel tap, grab your gas can, and we need to go and do a quick U-turn heading to Uncle's place. Over at Uncle's place, when we're stopping the bike, you want to go and get your bike down to neutral before hopping off, otherwise the engine will shut off. By keeping it neutral, the engine's still running. Open the present box, and hopefully you have at least 320 mark in it. If you have less than 320, then you can start over the run. That's going to be the run killer right there. And again, by leaving the bike in neutral, we can just hop on again without having to go and kickstart it. In the tractor, I'm going to pull the hand throttle slightly before we start it, otherwise we'll go and stall the engine out. Alright, and there we go. And that's going to be the really time crunchy part of the run, is right at the beginning. So make sure you avoid any trees while you're driving. I'm going to go and open up the gas can for later. Now, the reason how come we have to get everything done like that so quickly is because we want to go and We need to get to Flattari's place before he closes. He closes at 10 minutes in the run. And it takes a little bit of time, about 6 minutes or so with the tractor in order to get there to his shop. We need to go and order a few things at his place before he closes. That's going to be why we need to go and get things done so quick. Now, you don't need to necessarily do that engine primer. You can just ignore that and just head straight out to Flattari's and do all the engine stuff later. And the reason why we do those right now is so that we can, when we get to Flattari's, we're just going to grab a tool over there, a 7mm socket. And for the engine, after going and getting that much stuff done, then we can just do a whole bunch of 7mm all at once. There are 33 bolts that we need to go and do with the 7mm following this. So by getting that done, we don't need to swap between tools. And there's also 4 7mm on the car that we can do as well. Coming up here by the sign, there's going to be a spot right here in the trees that we're going to go and right past this light. And I kind of just go through here, go in right here. Hop on the train tracks right about where this tree is. So while we're going down this way here, it's a nice straight shot on the train tracks. Just try not to go and bounce around on the rails, that'll slow you down. Out over here on the left and right side of us, the flat area out there is a big swampy area that will slow your tractor down. So I recommend staying on the tracks. If you have to, you can drive on the little incline here on the left or the right. And that's also above the water of the swamp, so you're not going to go and lose any ground on that. While we're going this way, there is a train that goes on the tracks. It goes and spawns in behind us out over here. The first spawning for the game for the train will be behind you, so you shouldn't have to go and worry about driving this way. It's spawned way out over there. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty small. It's way out there. We're gonna hop off the tracks right about the wheat field here. And I think any run, or I say that any run that you're doing of this, if you can get off the tracks on the wheat field before the train comes by, you're doing good on time. If you have to go and drive off to the side here because the train's passing you, then you're running behind. So go ahead and hop off here. And there's a train. So we're doing really good on time right now. Now that the present money that you get is RNG, you can go and end up with too little money. But as long as you go and have at least 320, you're going to be fine. The reason why we need so much money is because we have to buy a new battery. You can go and just put the battery in the garage on the charger. But if you're running at the, if you're going for the speed run, at the build times and such that we'll be doing here for this, the charger or the battery won't have enough time to go and charge up high enough, and it often just goes and dies on you. It often goes and dies on you by the time you, or like when you get over to Lindell's, if you go and just leave things running. Now then, with the 3,000 marker that you have from the beginning of the game, buying a new battery and doing everything, you will it will leave you with exactly 6 marker remaining. It costs 325 to go and pass the inspection, or to go and do the inspection. So we need at least 320 in that to give us at least 326. You could say you need 325, but anytime I've been left with 0 mark, I've seen the game just go and refuse to go and let me buy things. So I think you need to have at least 1 remaining at all times. So coming up here, his shop goes and closes at 10 o'clock. Or, I'm sorry, 10 minutes into the run. As long as you're in the vicinity of his shop, you're okay, and you can go and still do stuff. I'm driving up over here. I'm going to put the tractor into low first, and put the brake on. Right over here, bottom left corner, turn page, standard road tires, and then back out over here. Grab the 7mm socket. And split. Okay. So next we need to go and grab some wheels. We're going to grab the steel rims. Those are going to be the ones that are in the mansion over here. I'm just going to go and park the tractor about right here. Brake on. And we want to go and get on top of the tractor. Come on. And just jump through this window. Back out over here, we can go and take this table and just push this table. We want to go and push this table into the doorway. And while in there, you can go and stand on top of the table and just grab these wheels. That way we don't have to go upstairs and we can avoid the bees. Having those, it's, with the way that we park the tractor, it's just a real quick, easy thing to go and just lean in and just throw these things inside. And there we go, we are out of here. Okay, so with Flatari, anytime that you go and buy anything from him, whether it's going to be new wheels or you're looking to go and have car work done, when you go and make the purchase, it goes and starts an in-game timer. And when the timer hits 0 is when he'll go and work on when he'll go and exchange things out like parts or whatever. So as long as you have the thing like the wheels or the parts or whatever at his shop, when it hits 0 is when he's going to work on it. If it's not there at that time, then you would have spent your money for nothing. So we've got some time before he's going to work on the wheels, so we can go and get some more stuff done. Now, as opposed to what you'll hear from other people, you do not need to go and have the wheels inside his office. You can go and leave them outside as long as in the vicinity of his shop. There's like a trench that's dug around the place to go and indicate the property line. As long as it's within the property line, that's where he'll go and work on it. I generally just go and throw them out by the front door though, because that's going to be a quick, convenient place for us. Now driving out this way, we have 2 paths. We can go up the road over here. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to be going along the dirt path out here. The road up that way does take you uphill, and that does slow down the tractor, whereas going around this way is pretty flat, and we'll be able to maintain top speed for the most of it. And like going up this low spot right here is the only spot where we go and lose a little bit of speed, really. Now heading out this way, I go and head all the way over to the lakeside. There is a little difference between the grassy area and then the rocky area up there. The rocky area, I do go and run into invisible trees and such sometimes, whereas in the grassy area down here, I don't go and have any issues with it. So to avoid any issues, I do recommend driving down on this side. Now over here, we're just going to make a beeline over towards the shed. Is that a vehicle? And we're just going to make a beeline over here towards the shed because we need to go and pick up the GT rims. was a car. That made things easy to see. Alright, right over here, I'm going to go and hit our parking brake, open our door, make sure it's open all the way. And in here we have our GT rims. With our door open, we can just easily just throw these inside. That's going to be all the collections and such that we're doing around the map. Now we just need to go and take care of our shopping and get back home. Let me go in and just hand throttle this all the way down. You can use that as a possible like cruise controlling method, whatever, to go and maintain your speed. Also useful if you're needing to go and get out of a ditch or something, to go and provide constant torque on your wheels. Alright, so now we just need to go and get our shopping done, and then we'll be all set. Alright, shopping. We need alternator belt, 3 of these fluids, coolant, motor oil, spark plugs, battery, 2 light bulbs, cigarettes, and sausage. So we can go and just kind of just throw these things into the cab from here. Oh, come on, get in there. Alright. So we need to get some fuel in the gas can. We need about half a tank, or half a can here. So it's about 50%, that's good. Now we're not going to be paying for fuel. The price of everything, like all the parts that you're getting, that you're shopping for, and then the things from the, hold on, everything is here, right? Oil, gasoline, shopping, or coolant. Where's the battery? Well, the battery better be in here. Let me go and actually make a quick check. Okay, battery's all the way at the bottom. That's why I didn't see it. So again, like when you're doing shopping like that, all of the parts together goes and comes out to 2,996 marca. No, 2,994. The price of gasoline goes and varies every day in game. So you could end up with really cheap gas, you could end up with kind of expensive gas. So in order to go and take that RNG out of it, we just don't pay for it. As a consequence, he does go and he is calling the house, saying that, accusing us of stealing fuel and coming back, telling us to come back and pay for it. But because we unplugged the phone earlier, that's not something we have to worry about. So we get ourselves a nice little drive back out to Flatari's to go and drop off these wheels so that he can go and work on them. Now, like I said, the timer that's going is still ticking down right now. But we got plenty of time before it hits 0. We're going to be dropping off the GT rims. That's the one without the wheels on them, without the tires on them. So that he'll go and install them on these guys. And then we're just going to take the other standard tires back home so we can install them on the Satsuma. And by installing them on the Satsuma, that means that we can just drive that car back out over to Flatari's instead of having to go and do something else like drive the tractor there to pick up the wheels. Just little time-saving things like that. Now while driving out this way, we're going to take a little bit of a different path. Again, we're going to go and head out here through the trees by the shed. And we're going to head out to that lakeside. Looks like we're looking at nice clean weather here for the build. The benefit of having clear skies is that it's not going to be raining. Oftentimes when it's raining, you're going to start losing power, like for the garage, things are going to flicker, and it's just going to make things a little bit harder to see. So while driving, like, you can drive through most trees. There's a few that you can't, like the larger trees. Like this one, no, wait, no. Let's see, let's find one. Like that one right over there, you can't. Anything where you can see like a... Oh, there's one of those invisible trees we ran into, I think. Anything that you can see like a noticeable trunk on it is something that you can't go and drive through. There's also like this tree wall here on the side. That's something you can't go and drive through as well. Something like these, like where it's just like little... No, not that one. That's a trunk. Something like these where it's just like this little black line thing that makes it look like there's a trunk. Like those things you can go and drive through. So we're driving through on this side, the lake side, instead of along the road. This avoids any uphills that we have to go through. And would just be faster overall. Especially when it gets over to the end of it. The end of this area, this field. Now the reason why we didn't go this way on from the mansion after picking up the wheels is the mansion is actually a little bit further. The mansion's about like here-ish where I'm looking at, which means we'd have to go and double back and then come around the field here. It costs about like 15 to 18 seconds. But heading out this way is definitely, heading on way back is a lot faster. And for one, this is entirely a flat field, so we can maintain our maximum speed. Out over here, there's going to be numerous trees. You need to go and just be mindful of those. Watch out that you don't go and drive into them. Especially with your forks, you can go and get a tree stuck in between the forks, and then that just takes a lot of time to go and get that out. So one of the benefits about driving this way is from here, we can just go right across the stream. Instead of having to take the bridge, we can just drive straight across here, heading towards Flatari's shop. So all 4 of these GT rims we need to go and toss out. And that's going to be right there where I threw them out in front of his shop. That's plenty close enough for him to go and work on those. And we'll pick those up later. Now then, on the way home, we're going to be going over the tracks one more time. The train goes and drives, goes across around 25:45, I believe. Yeah, 25:45 on time. So as right now we're at 26:30, we'll be totally fine. We don't have to worry about the train. The train goes by roughly every 6 minutes. So the first time it passed was on the 7th minute. So 7, 13, 19, 25, 31. So if you're looking at, if you've got a timer going, it makes it easy to go and keep track of that. For the 25th minute, the train goes and comes from this side. The 31st, it will be coming from straight ahead. So if you're running a little bit behind on this part here, and then you're, say, driving here on the 30th minute or something, and the train's going to come by, it should be coming from in front of you, so you're not going to, it won't be sneaking up on you. Alright, so now that we have all that done, I'm going to go and mess around with these things a little bit. Lower the arm slightly, and then lower the fork slightly. Probably a little bit more. Okay, probably like right about here. We're lowering the forks here because when we get home, I'm going to push the Satsuma into the garage with the tractor. Having the Satsuma in the garage is a lot faster for the build rather than having to go and throw things outside. By keeping everything in the garage, it makes it a little bit easier. Now then, on our way back, there's a tree here. And this big one here. I go and hop off the tracks past this tree. I use that as a reference point to go and tell me where the swamp is. And then from there, we just have a nice little drive up the bank here towards the road. Now then, with the updates to the game, I don't recommend running anyone over. If you run into anyone on your way out this way, then police will be hanging out at your house. And then if you run into anyone going this way or whatever, then police will be over at Lindell's. So don't do that. Now then, for the car build that we're going to do, we're going to be doing the entire build. That's going to include the tuning, wiring, and alignment. The car is going to be fully built, aside from different parts that we're not going to be attaching. Okay, so right past this pole here, I go and hop into the field. I use that as another reference point because there's not too many trees when I head out from there. And then we can just go and head straight out this way. We can go and take the main road over there, but it kind of loops around, goes and takes us further out. And this is all about saving time, right? So, this is what we do. There's a big rock here on the side. Use that as a point to know when to get back on the road. Because around the rock there's not too many trees. Let's drop our hand throttle. And just like that, we have the Satsuma in the garage. Easy for us to go and work on. Okay. And home. Okay, so now that we're back home, we're going to start out by putting this battery on the charger, and then we're going to get some things started. I'm going to throw all the vehicle parts out this way. All our engine parts stay out over by the engine. Anything that goes over attached to the car will be sent out over that way, such as our master cylinders, our clutch linings, the radiator, electrics, fuel filter. Okay, and then now we're going to work on the engine. So from here, I need to go and basically throw everything on the ground. This is going to make things a little bit faster instead of having to go and jump up every time to go and get things. Okay, going to attach our head gasket, and then our pistons. Piston 1 over here on the gear side, and then 4 is on the other end, the engine plate side. With those in, we can get our cylinder head and then our rocker shaft. Exhaust headers on the other side, our carburetor on this side as well. Alternator in this little tray here on the side, and then our timing chain attaches over here. After the timing chain, we can get the timing cover. Where's the timing cover? Here you are. Starter in this little hole on the side. Fuel pump over here. Oh, fuel pump's on this side, sorry. Water pump. Distributor. oil filter, crankshaft pulley, and we can also attach our, well, that's about it. So now we have this thing. Let's go and start bolting things in. Now the whole point of doing the engine primer is that we can go and just do all the 7mm all at once. And again, there's like 33 bolts or something that we need for that. The pistons underneath, all of them are 7mm, 2 of them each. The starter has 2 of them, we're only going to attach 1. The fuel pump has 2. On the side here, our water pump has 5. Alternator has 1. The rocker, or the head gasket, has, the cylinder head has 10. After we get that, we can go flip this over and attach the oil pan. Oil pan has 8. After that is the gearbox. Gearbox has 6. Now we're not going to be attaching the inspection cover because that's not necessary. After that we have the water pump pulley. The pump pulley has 4. Alright, and that's it for the 7mm on this thing. Okay, so over here we're going to move over to the car, attach the radiator. Radiator has 4 7mm. Then we're going to do just a slight little bit of wiring here up front. Going to attach the front lights connector to both headlights. We want to install our headlights. Left is driver's side, right is passenger side. And there are 2 7s on these guys. Okay. Now then, there it is. Take that. Get something to drink. Okay, great. And then with that, we are done with our 7mm. Let's go and start throwing things around where they need to be. Left again is driver's side, right is passenger side. We need to get all of our suspension stuff done. Subframe up front. Shock absorbers are in the back. Drum brakes are in the back. Trail arms are in the back. RR is rear right. RL rear left. Struts, FR is front right, FL is front left. Same goes for our wishbone and our spindle and our steering rods. Disc brakes, either side's okay. Our steering racks up front, half shafts are up front, And coil springs are in the back. And we also need our steering column. Alright, so now up front we can go and finally switch off this, go to our 10mm for our subframe. Subframe attaches underneath. There are 4 bolts for this. Got those, and in the back there are 2 underneath. Okay, and I'm also going to attach our dashboard. Two bolts. Wishbone support. 2 bolts. Well, heading out this way, we're going to go to our engine real quick. There are 2 10mm on here, one on our alternator and one on our gearbox. And then over here, this side, wishbone. Nine millimeter next. For our steering rack. 4 bolts on here. On the inside we have, oh, hold on. We need to attach more stuff. Let's get our steering column. Over on this side, we'll go and attach all of our stuff here. Our master cylinders. Our linings, brake lining, clutch lining. Where's the other master cylinder? I didn't grab it. Cool. Our electrics go and attach right about here. Yep, here they are. Okay, and our fuel filter as well, fuel strainer. Okay, those in. Our handbrake is next. Handbrake right in the middle. We can go and toss our fuel tank in the back as well as the fuel tank pipe. Gear stick right up front. And the clutch, the gear linkage right in the middle, underneath. Okay, we still have 9mm in our hand, so let's get their driver's seat in. May as well attach these guys. Okay, the driver's seat has 4 9mm on it. For the steering wheel, or for the pedals I should say, the master cylinders go and attach right here. Okay, after that we need to switch our 12mm. For our 12, our spindle connects, 1 bolt. And then also our steering rods. In the back, our trail arm. 2 bolts for the trail arm. And then after that is the coil spring and the shock absorber. $12mm on top. Our fuel tank has a 12mm right here. Come on, fuel tank, where are you? And then I guess we'll go ahead and attach our drum brake. Other side's the same thing. 12mm, two of them for the trail arm. And then coil spring, drum brake, and shock absorber. Up front, we have the spindle, and then the there it is, steering rod, and we can go ahead and attach our struts. Now let's grab our 6mm. On the, we need to grab the dashboard meter and install this thing. There's two 6mm for this. Our gear stick has 3. And then in the back are shock absorbers that each have 2. Okay, going back over to our engine. Our timing cover has 6 6mm on it. And then also we have our drive gear, goes and connects right here. There are 7 6mm on this, 1 on this end, and 6 around the center. Okay. Now we're going to grab our 8s. For the handbrake in the center. Up front, you can stick your head in and bolt in the steering column. And in the back here, our master cylinders are all 8mm. That's not good. Our master cylinders are all 8mm as well. Back to the engine. On top, our rocker shaft has 4 8mm. Or, I'm sorry, 5 8mm. And on the side, our exhaust headers and our carburetor all have 8mm, total of 9 bolts over here. Okay, back to the car. Grab our 10s. Our struts have 10mm on top, 3 of them each. And then we can go ahead and attach our doors now. Door right for the passenger side, door left for the driver side. Each door has 4 10mm on them. Oh, door. I was putting on the fender, huh? Okay. Let's get our steering wheel on here as well. 10mm. Next, we'll go back over to our 9s. We have at the bottom here 4 9mm for our struts. This is probably out of order for this one. I probably should go and do this one like one step later. Or a few steps later. Okay, after this here, let's go and grab our 7s. A little hungry. That's what the sausage is for. Each of the wheels has a 7mm bolt on it. That's for your brake line. So make sure you get down all 4 of them. Alright, and on the interior here, we've got our 7mm for our brake lining and our clutch lining. Oh, imagine that. Look at that. I missed some 8mm. We have 4 on the assembly over here, 1 down on this side. On the other over here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4. Okay, so there we are with that. Let's get our 8s to go and fix this that I missed. Our electrics here and our fuel strainer all have 8mm on them. Alright, 11mm next. For our 11, let's go down over here. And again, I'm doing this out of order. So we're done with the car. Now we need to go and finish up with the engine. We have our spark plugs that need attaching. Okay. Screwdriver in for the distributor. And now we need our timing belt. We'll go, and after we put the timing belt on, we'll tighten the carburetor or the alternator all the way out, then 2 clicks back. Bolt this in. Then we'll grab our 11. Just dump this thing in here. Hopefully you'll have at least one of these bolts up front here for your 11mm lined up. If you can get one of them in, then it's going to go and get the rest of the engine lined up in. I already got this 11, so there we go. Now you'll want to attach your brakes, not bolt them in yet. And then we'll attach the half shafts. 3 bolts on this one. And same applies to the other side. Okay, now we'll grab my 13 and we're going to go and bolt in the pin here for the oil pan, and I'll go ahead and attach the wheels. Now trying to go and push the car back without the wheels here will be pretty difficult. The wheels will allow it to go and kind of slide up the garage pit a little bit easier, so. Like so. If you tried to do this without the wheels, it would be a lot more difficult. Alright, so let's get the wheels attached. 13mm as well. Okay, grab your 5, and we're going to drop down. Your gear linkage here has 3 bolts on it. One, 2, and then third one should be somewhere up here. I prefer to do this before I get the engine in. Can't even see. 1, 2, and 3. It's somewhere in here. There we go. And in the back here, your handbrake goes and connects with the 5mm as well. Oh, while we're down here actually, let's go ahead and attach our exhaust. I'm not going to bolt this one in. I'm just kind of go and attach it for now. That's going to help us out in just a little bit. Okay, next up, let's grab our screwdriver and start attaching these hoses. Radiator hose 3 on the bottom, 1 is on top, up front, and 2 is in the back on top. 5 screws for this one. Alright, there we are. Battery's looking good. Let's get this thing attached. And let's get the wiring done for this. For the wiring, we'll get our main harness to our ignition coil. Main harness to positive. Main harness to regulator. Regulator to alternator. Positive to the starter, battery ground to negative, main harness to the lights, main harness to the radiator fan. And in the back, we have our rear harness to our lights, to our fuel tank, and to our other light on the interior. Fuse box to panel 1, fuse box to panel 2, radio harness to radio, fuse box to ignition, and dash harness to lights. And that's it. To double check the engine wiring, we'll just do a quick check. We need 5 cables out of here. Okay, 2 cables out of our regulator, 2 out of positive, 1 out of negative. Great, we look good. In here, 5mm to connect our battery ground, or our starter, I mean, sorry. And 7 for our battery ground. 8mm for our battery, starting with the positive terminal first. And then negative. Okay. And let's go and start filling this thing up. If you guys have been following with me all the way here, congrats, you just built your car. So our stress is a little bit high right now. We're going to take care of that in just a moment. It's something we can do while we're going and filling the fluids in here. I'm just going to choke down the whole cigarette all at once. For the oil and the coolant, I do want to go and fill those up to full. Actually, same goes and applies for the brake fluid as well. before I forget about it. 14mm for our brakes. Or to connect the wheels, I mean. And then I guess we'll take the 11 as well. And bolt in the fuel tank. There are 3 bolts in the front end and 4 on the back end. Okay. It's going to take 2 3/4 of these bottles to go and fill up all the fluids here. So while you're filling it, if the bottle just stops, then that means it's gone empty. Alright guys, there we go. Car's done. We got a bad starter. Give me a moment here while I go and kill the music so we can do some tuning. The first time you start up the car, it will take a while for it to go and kick in right there, as the carburetor does need to go and fill it with fuel. Pull the choke out while you're doing that. And then first we got to start with our distributor. 2 bolts to unclick it. And we're going to wheel this until it starts jingling. And then we put it back to right to where it stops. And if it's jingling from the start, then wheel it until it stops. And right where it stops is where you bolt that in. Our rockers here, up, down, down, up, down, up is what we do. So we're going to bolt this up, or click it up, until we hear it clicking, and then 1 down till it stops. Same applies here, down till it clicks, then 1 up. And repeat for all of them. Okay, that's going to be, we're going to do it like that if your engine is brand new with or I guess not brand new, if it's got all stock parts from your garage. Okay, by now your engine should be up to running temps. Drop the exhaust pipe so you can go and see it a little bit better. And then we need to go and see the exhaust color of this. Okay, so we need to get it to where it's clear, this clearish color, like here, this invisible-ish color. If it's too white, then it's too rich. If it's like a dark gray, then it's too, then it's too rich. If it's too white, then it's too lean. And then you can go and hit the hand throttle here to make sure that it's running fine, and that it's running clean on both the intake, or when you're running it, or when it's idling as well. So there you are. You're done with your tuning. So we'll just go and attach this air filter. rocker cover. And one last thing is we need to do the alignment. For the wheel, find this bolt here, and you want to wheel this one way or the other all the way until the entire wheel assembly stops moving. Looks like it's already stopped. And then wheel it 60 times in the opposite direction. Okay, same applies to the other side. You can see how the entire wheel assembly here is moving as I'm doing this. Alright, there it stops. Alright, there we are. Our wheels are aligned, and now the last thing we need to do is just attach the exhaust pipe again. Up front there are two 7mm. In the back there's one. And there's one for the muffler. Alright, so we're done. From here we're going to go and throw some stuff in the cab. The bumpers go in. Basically everything except for the grill. Make sure you go and remember your warning triangle as well. The fenders. The hood. And actually, we got some time here. I'm going to go ahead and just attach the hood and the boot lid. 6mm for this. Make sure you bring your tools, your toolbox with you. And we're going to go and swap over to our 13mm, and we're good to go. Congrats guys, if you've gone and done this far, then you've gone and built your Satsuma. You've got all the wiring done, you've done your alignment, your car is well tuned and good to go. And now we're going to go and pick up some wheels. The previous runs I used to do would go and we wouldn't have our wheels right now. And we'd have to go and drive with the tractor to pick up them, which does go and take like take more time. Alright, so there's no need to go and push your car right now. We are running a little bit fast right now. We need to go and get to town probably around like. Well, Lindell doesn't open up his shop until 8 o'clock. That's who does the inspections. Right now it's not 8 o'clock yet. If we wanted to, we could have gone and also attached the clock to the dash so we could go and see what time it is. Get out the road, loser. But yeah, there's no need to go and really push your car on this. It would really be bad, like if you gone and done this much, only for you to go and crash. As far as the car goes, physically, the body of it doesn't really matter. So, I mean, it could be, you could go and just have like a crumbled up tin can and bring it in and it passes inspection as long as everything's fine for it. The only thing that does matter is that the windshield is attached. So if your windshield's broke, then that's not going to work. So judging from before, as far as when the train should be going, it should be 101, 17, 13, 19. One 7 13 19 25 31. So no worries on that train. Now, if you're watching this run here, then I would assume, and you are a My Summer Car player, I will assume that you know how to go and properly shift your car. And you're not going to be like in 4th gear and you just shift down to 2nd or 1st. And that you're not going to blow up your engine that way. So as expected, the wheels are all good to go. Look at that. So now we're going to go and unbolt these things so we can replace them. Now we can't go and pull the wheels off like this. There is a jack inside his garage. It's out of reach right now. I mean, if you wanted to earlier, you could have gone and moved it a little bit closer. I guess I should have gone and mentioned that. But we're not going to be doing that. All the wheels are unbolted. And just like that, that's how I go and unbolt all 4 wheels at once. Just unbolt all of them, so that they're all loose, and then just go and drive a little bit. And it just goes and just knocks off all 4 wheels at once. So you can go in, and then you can just install these. You don't need to go and lift the car for that. Make sure you do go and bolt these ones in though. Alright, congrats guys, there you are. Four new wheels. Because it is generally safer on the main road, we're going to just drive on here. We are on the home stretch here, guys. Couple things while you're driving here, just make sure you're monitoring your temperature. If this starts going up, then slow down. Yeah, if that starts going up on there, then you need to go and slow down, like, and you need to not be pushing your engine so hard. Just kind of coast, leave it probably around like 100 or so, or less. If your oil light pops on here, then you need to go and really drop your speed. And congrats guys, if you've been following along, then you've gone and built your car. Day 1, you're ready to go and pass the inspection, and ready to go and be a legal road driver here on the first day. Now then, all of your engine parts are stock from the garage. They're not in the best of shape. I do recommend going and replacing those as soon as you can. If you've got the money, then you can go over to Flatari's and have him repair broken engine parts, and he should be replacing everything up to full on there. Probably. I'm not 100% sure about that one, actually. I've not tested that one too much myself. Normally I just go and buy brand new parts myself, and I just go and roll with it that way. I'm not sure if he goes and repairs them to 100%, so actually don't go and quote me on that one. Now, one thing that goes and gets a lot of people is they forget about this warning triangle, so do make sure you remember that. Is he open yet? He's not open yet. Okay, so we got here a little bit early. So it's a good thing we have our toolbox. So what we can do, actually, how early are we? Okay, cool. So what we can do is we can go and do a quick little save here. And then we're going to reload the game. Every time you save and reload the game, it advances time to the next 2-hour time slot. What that means is 12 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6. And it runs on even number time slots, so we went here at 6:30, so the next time slot will be 8 o'clock is when he's open, by the way. So one load and he's going to be good to go. Now then, when you're loading up the game for the first time, your battery typically has the positive or negative terminal unbolted, so make sure you bolt that back in. If you're wondering, like, how come my car's not starting? No, I probably should have gone and paused the timer during that time when we were in the load time. I don't know. Alright. Oh, hold on. At this point, now all this stuff needs to come out. Fender left is driver's side, right is passenger side. All we need to do is connect them on. We don't need to bolt them. And there we go. And technically, you also don't need to go and bolt the hood and the boot lid on the trunk. You don't need to bolt those. You can just go and attach them just like we did here. But I had the time. Otherwise, we would have gotten here like even earlier, and yeah. We wouldn't have been able to go, and we'd have to go and save twice. Time. Inspection fully passed. And you know if you passed because he'll go and give you your license plates or your registering, your vehicle plates. You'll just go and attach these things and we're good to go. Ready to go and drive the roads here out in Finland. So, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys next time. ShinMasaki out.